Hello YouTube travelers, and welcome back to another video from the Gentleman of Fortune channel. Tonight I'll be traveling from Chicago O'Hare to Dubai and on to points east in Emirates first class. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to take a look at two videos I posted in the last couple of weeks outlining Emirates first class in the Legacy Suite configuration and their fantastic new suite. In this video, I aim to outline some of the differences I noticed with Emirates service since the last flight as we fly into the new year. Will I be as excited as this guy from the Emirates in-flight entertainment promotional video? I hope so, so let's take a look at what's new. Starting with the welcome champagne. To avoid tax duty, Emirates doesn't serve Dom Perignon on the ground in the US. Instead, they are now serving Piper Heidsieck, whereas previously they served Laurent Perrier or Veuve Clicquot. There's no change to the Arabic coffee and date service since they started wrapping the dates in 2020. On this flight, I received a different style gentleman's amenity kit from Bulgari. I'm not sure if this style is new for 2021 or if they're supposed to alternate on east and westbound flights. I will say, however, that in my last 6 flights, I've only ever received the other style. This kit, despite a new bag, has the same contents inside, including the Tigar fragrance. I did confirm that there is only the single style for the ladies' kit. In the snack basket, they've added an exciting new flavor of lacquerades. If you're not familiar with these, they're a confection with a unique texture. They consist of a small piece of licorice coated in chocolate and a candy shell. The flight from Chicago was not full, but there were a fair number of passengers. I would estimate about 60% capacity. In the first class cabin, 3 of the 8 suites were occupied. The load factors by comparison seem to be much higher flying out of JFK, though if I was traveling in first, I would still prioritize that since they have the new suites and Emirates is planning on resuming the A380 service to JFK on the 28th of March. Now here's a look at the Intercontinental menu for January 2021. Of note here, the Piper Heidsieck is conspicuously absent, though to be expected on what's probably a generic first-class menu. I'm happy to report that they're still serving the Graham's 76 port. The star next to it indicates that it's exclusive to Emirates. Once airborne, the Dom Perignon is quickly loosed from its onboard cave and paired with a trio of canapes. The caviar service remains every bit as delectable as always. I'm partial to using the creme fraiche to secure the chopped egg whites and caviar to the Bellini. I find that this provides a creamy taste punctuated by the pop of saltiness from the caviar. How would you prepare your caviar? Next up, I had the seared prawns, which I found to be a strange, albeit quite tasty, melange of 2 dishes which are typically independent of each other. The prawns themselves were perched atop a beet and chèvre salad with cracked pepper, which in turn sat on top of a seaweed salad, presumably to tie back into the seafood theme. And for my main dish, I had the duo of lamb. The dish itself was very good, but I did take notice of how small the lamb chop was, and the meat from the shank was not quite as succulent or tender as that on Qatar Airways Q Suites. I was eagerly awaiting the Graham's tawny port and had a glass while I was awaiting the dessert service. A spot of rough air had it dancing in the glass, but everything was smooth by the time the chocolate and cherry tart was delivered. Delicious on all counts. I'm sure this is not new, but I've never dug this deeply into the in-flight entertainment system before. I discovered that they had a couple of slideshows, including one that had some photos from old Dubai. This photo was especially poignant for me, as I remember standing at almost this exact vantage point around 1982 when I was growing up in the Emirates. After my trip down memory lane and a nap, I was determined to answer the age-old question, can I get a second service of caviar? Jackpot. Next I had the beef pie, which was very flavorful inside of a buttery, flaky pastry shell. The onion chutney, however, was very sweet, so I didn't eat much of that. As if I needed to eat any more, one of the lovely flight attendants insisted that I try the dessert from their crew catering. I was impressed that they're well taken care of with Dough & Co. catering, and true to her word, it was incredibly delicious and creamy. Amazingly, though we took off early in the evening from Chicago, we traveled all through the night and all through the day, and now the sun was again fading as we were about to approach Dubai. This afforded some beautiful views of the sunset, and then a scenic look at downtown and the airport as we flew by in preparation for landing. I'd argue that the food and service in Emirates First is always good, but if you're fortunate, you often get a fantastic crew whose kindness and hospitality makes you feel like you're leaving as a genuine friend as opposed to just a passenger. I'm happy to report that on my flight from Chicago, I had just such a fantastic crew. So to answer my question from earlier, yes, I suppose I did feel a bit like the guy that was smiling on the ICE advert. I hope that you too will get to experience the joys that are flying Emirates First Class sometime soon. And so, on that note, until the next video, safe travels.